Oké, een hele goede middag allemaal en welkom op het webinar EngageOne Goes Digital. Some of the presenters will be in English. In fact, the rest of the presentation will be in English after mine. So I welcome the people from Precisely and we'll introduce them later to you. Voor nu is het handig om jullie in het Nederlands te woord te staan, dus dat ga ik ook doen. En we willen graag beginnen met, omdat het toch wel een tijd geleden is dat we elkaar gesproken hebben en dit een klantevent is, met nieuws van ons bedrijf. Allereerst voor onze Belgische klanten en partners zijn we per 1 mei verhuisd van de Technologielaan in Heverlee, dat is bij Leuven, naar de Nauwstraat 9 in Mechelen. Dat zal misschien niet zo heel bekend klinken, maar wat wel bekend zal klinken is dat dat aan de vismarkt is. En hier zien jullie dat we een hele verdieping hebben in een pand wat aan de vismarkt gelegen is. We nodigen alle klanten en partners ook uit om daar te komen werken, kijken of zelfs gezellig met ons te lunchen. De formele adreswijziging die is in ieder geval onderweg naar al onze klanten. Kort ander bericht. Roberto Nagel, de laatste medeoprichter van het bedrijf, bijna 30 jaar geleden, is met pensioen sinds 1 mei. Jullie krijgen allemaal de groeten van hem uiteraard. Hier zie je wat van zijn credentials. Voor ons een verlies, voor hem fantastisch. Hij kan samen met zijn vriend prettig afscheid nemen. En hij heeft beloofd, als we nog vragen hebben, dat hij zeker voor ons ter beschikking staat. Dus we willen dit toch even aan jullie meegeven, omdat eigenlijk iedereen in de markt Roberto wel kent. Nou, het gaat goed met Dialog groep. Dus hier zie je wat van de nieuwe medewerkers die zijn gestart. Trots ook dat we onze eerste vrouwelijke technische medewerker in services hebben, Febronia, alias V. En bijna al deze mensen zijn inmiddels ook al bij klanten aan het werk. Dan zijn we natuurlijk ook, gezien de ontwikkelingen die allemaal op ons afkomen, versterkingen aan het brengen aan onze staf. Zo hebben we Caroline Bouwrichter in dienst genomen bij 1 mei, die als Legal and Compliance Officer alle contracting, legal zaken, maar zeker ook compliance zaken gaat doen. Zoals certificering op het gebied van Information Security en GDPR. En omdat we nog meer aan de weg willen timmeren in de markt, is naast ons aller Carine, die ook bijna iedereen wel kent, een tweede lid aan het marketingteam toegevoegd. Haar naam is Laura Kou. En zij is onder andere bezig met een aantal van jullie te benaderen voor interviews, meer informatie. Andere ontwikkelingen is dat wij op verzoek van een van onze klanten de EcoVadis broncertificering hebben gehaald in 2020. We willen daar in 2021 zilver van maken. Dat heeft alles te maken met dat je op een aantal gebieden met maatschappelijk verantwoord ondernemen bezig bent. Iets wat we graag zelf willen, maar wat ook steeds vaker gevraagd wordt. En we hebben inmiddels een partnership met Wakibi, die microkredieten financiert. Er is een team Dialog. Kan iedereen uitnodigen om daar eens te gaan kijken. En daarmee kun je per €25 microkredieten verstrekken aan ondernemers in derde wereldlanden. En wij vinden dat een hele goede manier om hulp te verlenen. Dan zijn we daarnaast hebben we, gecontracteerd en zijn we ook inmiddels mee gestart met een ISAE 3402 type 2 certificering. Dat is een auditstandaard voor procesbeheersing, waarbij type 2 ook aangeeft dat je niet alleen maar de situatieschets hebt, maar dat je ook de controlmaatregelen op orde hebt. Met name op het gebied van informatiebeveiliging wordt dat door heel veel van onze klanten als belangrijk ervaren. Dus goed om te weten in ieder geval dat we daarmee bezig zijn en dat onze dienstverlening verder professionaliseert. En het laatste nieuws is dat we sinds 1 uur vanmiddag onze nieuwe website live hebben. Helaas alleen nog de Nederlandse versie, de Engelse versie volgt hopelijk snel. Maar die is veel meer gericht op persona's, dus marketing, IT, business en Customer Contact Center persona's zullen ze hierin kunnen herkennen en veel sneller informatie kunnen vinden. Past ook bij onze nieuwe visie en missie. Dat is waar ik het vervolgens kort even over wil hebben met jullie. We hebben de afgelopen jaren hard gewerkt aan een visie waarin we duidelijk weergeven hoe wij in de markt staan, wat we doen en welke waarden we denken toe te voegen bij onze klanten. We hebben altijd al gezegd, wij maken organisaties, dus jullie, onze klanten, succesvoller door de interactie met jullie klanten te verbeteren. En steeds vaker doen we dat door 3 van de hoofdproblemen aan te pakken. Complexe IT, slechte data, datakwaliteit, data-integratie-issues bijvoorbeeld. maar ook complexiteit in de organisatie of in de processen van de organisatie. En één van die drie, maar vaak een combinatie van die drie, maken dat het lastig is om snel mee te bewegen met de veranderende klanteisen en mensen. En dat leidt dan tot frustratie, kosten voor onze klanten, maar vooral ook ellende bij jullie klanten. En dat is belangrijk om te weten, omdat dat vaak het enige onderscheid is waarom mensen nu eenmaal zaken met je willen doen. Klantervaring, de klantreis, is natuurlijk steeds belangrijker. Hoe ziet dan die klantinteractielaag eruit? Nou, wat houdt je dus tegen? Dat hebben we eigenlijk net gezegd. Hè? Allerlei complexiteit en kwaliteitsissues op dit gebied. Nou, wat wil je klant? Je klant wil gemak. Die wil mobile first kunnen werken. Die wil eigenlijk digitaal 80% van de business zelf kunnen regelen op een moment dat het hem zelf schikt. Hij wil dat dat persoonlijk en op maat is en niet algemeenheden. En natuurlijk consistent. Consistent ook over alle kanalen heen. Dat kunnen de traditionele printachtige kanalen zijn, maar veel vaker zijn dat hele moderne digitale kanalen. Al dan niet bidirectioneel. Dus waarbij de klant ook zelf informatie terug kan geven of keuzes kan maken. Nou, hoe brengen wij dat dan als Dialog groep bij elkaar? Hè? Wij noemen dat ons klantinteractieplatform. En dat regelt eigenlijk een aantal van die zaken die links misgaan. Integrale datakwaliteit borgen of data-integratie-issues regelen. Centraal je communicaties kunnen ontwerpen, zoveel mogelijk met wat de Engelsen noemen asset reuse, hergebruik van businesslogica, van tekstblokken, van businesslogica. Alle relevante kanalen kunnen bedienen. Inzage krijgen in hoe de klant zich gedraagt en daarop je communicatie kunnen aanpassen. En natuurlijk naast centrale businesslogica ook zoveel mogelijk automatiseren en efficiëntie toepassen. Dat klantinteractievorm is geen product, maar is een samenwerking van producten die jullie misschien al hebben, waar we mee samen kunnen werken, die we aan kunnen vullen. En dat zit hem voor ons in 5 vakgebieden, waarin wij ons steeds verder aan het bekwamen zijn. Natuurlijk datakwaliteit, integratie en transformatie, hebben we het al over gehad. Waar jullie ons denk ik het meeste van kennen is interactieontwerp en aflevering. Het maken van documenten. Gaat natuurlijk ook nog wel wat verder. Steeds meer ook workflow, automatisering en orchestratie. Orchestratie, wat gebeurt er als een klant een bepaald stukje document niet ontvangt. Of als hij een bepaalde andere preferentie heeft. Hoe ga je daarmee om? Hoe reroute je het naar een ander kanaal? Etcetera, etcetera. Digital Identity Services is relatief nieuw. Wij hadden in het verleden al een partnership met Quo Vadis op dit vlak. Maar nu zijn we onder andere met Rabo Identity Service bezig. En dat betekent dat we een heel scala aan identificatie, authenticatie en signing oplossingen kunnen integreren. En last but not least, er zijn natuurlijk ook heel veel wensen en eisen op het gebied van archivering, presentatie in portals en documentmanagementachtige oplossingen. En dat is wat wij onze vakdomeinen noemen binnen die klantinteractielaag, waarmee we eigenlijk de wensen van de klant en jullie wensen met elkaar verenigen en daarbij vaak de complexiteits- en kwaliteitsissues oplossen. Als daar vragen over zijn, dan kan dat overigens allemaal in de chat. Die vakdomeinen splitsen zich dan vervolgens natuurlijk op in al die onderdelen, waarbij heel veel van die onderdelen we vandaag ook te zien krijgen, met name in dit domein. Dus we gaan het straks hebben over mobile responsive e-mail en sms, over chatbots, over personalized interactive video. De meeste alleen kennen jullie ons alleen van het groene onderdeel. Kennen Precisely, onze partner, ook alleen van het groene onderdeel. Maar in werkelijkheid hebben wij op al deze gebieden al concrete projectervaring en zijn we op de overgebleven oranje gebieden druk aan het investeren in het opbouwen van kennis en het aannemen van mensen. We vonden het belangrijk om dat in ieder geval eventjes als context weer te geven voor vandaag. Nou, als we het dan toch over context hebben, wat gaan we nou vandaag zien? De mensen van Precisely komen natuurlijk met allerlei presentaties en demo's. Maar het is goed om te weten waar we naar gaan kijken. Allereerst is er op dit moment de launch as we speak, van wat zij het noemen, het Unified Cloud Platform EngageOne Communicate. Dat is een separaat product in de EngageOne familie. Helemaal vanaf de grond af aan opnieuw ontwikkeld sinds ongeveer 3 jaar. Native SaaS, native cloud, helemaal op AWS, headless, volledige API-driven. En daarmee kun je sms verzenden, responsive e-mails bouwen, maar ook sinds kort is de chat-oplossing die zij al hadden en de interactive personalized video-oplossing is erin geïntegreerd. En er is zelfs op dit moment al een module om, ik noem het maar even lightweight, met bescheiden functionaliteit printdocumenten te maken. Dat is waar we als eerste naar gaan kijken, want dat vormt de basis van onderdeel 2. Bijna iedereen die in dit webinar zit, gebruikt EngageOne Compose, het vroegere DocOne. Daar gaan we laten zien hoe je met de designer van Communicate, die is helemaal geïntegreerd. En je kunt dus nu mobile responsive e-mail maken zodra van Compose, dat gaat volgend kwartaal zijn, Service Pack 11 uitkomt. Wat betekent dat? Dat betekent dat je dus een klein deeltje van dat EngageOne Communicate platform gaat gebruiken om geïntegreerd met Compose data en assets te kunnen hergebruiken om complexe e-mails te ontwikkelen zonder dat je ze helemaal opnieuw moet ontwikkelen. En die zijn fully HTML5 compliant, mobile responsive. En die kun je vervolgens gewoon met je Compose, formerly known as e-messaging deliver, verzenden. Dus dat moet je dan zien als een aanvullende module voor Compose. De laatste beweging waar we recent over geïnformeerd zijn, wordt EngageOne On Demand genoemd. En dat gaat over dat Precisely aan het investeren is om Compose ook vanuit de cloud te kunnen aanbieden. Dat is dan op dat moment nog geen native SaaS oplossing, zoals Communicate als nieuw product dat wel is. Maar het kan wel helpen om alle zorgen van het lokaal hosten bijvoorbeeld weg te nemen. En daar wordt op dit moment ook zeer veel in geïnvesteerd. Dus naar die twee, we gaan eerst kijken naar EngageOne Communicate. En daarna gaan we kijken naar hoe je met Compose de integratie, zoals die binnenkort beschikbaar komt, kunt gaan maken. Om zo met maximaal hergebruik van alles wat je al in Compose hebt zitten, ook je e-mails te kunnen gaan versturen. Dan ga ik nu graag het woord geven aan Rob Dellison. Ik kan hem. Robert, is it okay if I show you briefly on screen and then switch back?
Sure.
Okay. So this is Rob Dellison. Rob is VP EMEA and APAC van Precisely, and he's going to take us a little bit into the Dialog Group partnership and the vision that they have before handing off to the product people. Rob, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Patrick, and welcome everybody. I'm thrilled to see so many EngageOne clients from the Benelux region. It's great to have you with us today, and thank you for your loyalty, and hopefully today's session will be very informative for you. So I'd like to just say a few words about the partnership that we have with Dialog Group. This goes back to the mists of time, it feels like, probably the early 90s. And actually, I was already working with Dialog Group, or Document Dialog as it was back then, in the late 90s. So I remember Roberto going into meetings with clients with Roberto and working with him for several years. It's great to see Dialog Group doing so well in the region. This is absolutely one of our most strategic partners for Precisely in Europe. And we have plenty of plans to make our relationship deeper and stronger still. So just now we are exploring some ways in which Precisely and Dialog Group can work together to bring even more exciting solutions to a broader audience within EMEA. So with me today, I'd like to introduce the rest of the team from Precisely. So I have Kevin Ricks, who is our Senior Director of Product Management. Kevin is based in the US, and he will be giving us a brief introduction around our product strategy. Chris Cummings is Principal Product Manager in charge of EngageOne Communicate, which, as you know, is our digital customer experience management platform. And Chris will be taking us through that shortly. Hugh Davies will actually give us a walkthrough of the product. So Hugh is one of our solution architects and spends most of his time crafting solutions for our customers and helping resolve technical challenges and finding solutions for the business requirements that we address. And last but definitely not least, we have Paranita Chowdhury, who is our Senior Product Manager for Compose and Vault. And Paranita will be giving us a presentation on responsive email design and updates to EngageOne Compose. So with that, I'd like to hand over to Kevin and the team to take us through their presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Rob, for the kind introduction.
Hello, everybody. As Rob introduced me, and thank you, Rob, very much. Thank you, Patrick, very much. I am happy to be talking to you folks today. Hopefully, we can have really great dialogue with you around EngageOne. And my first job here is actually the easiest of everyone. And it's really just to talk through a little bit of the high level of how we come up with our strategy. So we have products that our clients use, that you use to engage with your customers, for customer engagement, whether it's through digital channels, whether it's through print channels. We have really three primary platforms. The EngageOne Communicate platform, which is for digital customer engagement, leveraging email, SMS, video, personalized video, and chatbot, conversational types of communications, SaaS-based platform. Excited to have Chris Cummings do a little bit more of a deep dive for you because it's really game-changing technology that we're bringing out. We have our multi-channel customer engagement platform with EngageOne Compose. Paranita will talk to you about some of the improvements that we're doing there as we bring our email capability into a configurable option within that platform, but also provide the responsive email in our upcoming SP11 release of Compose for version 4.4.11. And then we have EngageOne Enrichment, which is primarily a print production type of application, but what you're able to do there is to digitally transform your print and tag some of the content in order to use that in digital applications. And at the end of the day, we're here, these products are here to help you drive or improve the customer experience, whether it's around acquisition, customer retention, and enhancing the customer service that you provide to your customers. Next slide, please. So as we are building out our innovation strategy, we keep our ear to the ground. We keep our ear to the market. We have a very outside-in type of approach. So we use some internal tools. So when you look at the top of the slide, you'll see our internal tools, our internal applications that we collect data in, whether it's from sales opportunities we have with Salesforce, whether it's through Jira, which is our software development system, where we also track any product issues or defects, whether it's through work that we do that we collect from our RFP system when we're going through bids and so forth. And then at the very top, you see the Precisely Ideas portal. And that is really one of the, that's a gold mine for us, because that's the primary interface that our clients, our partners, basically the market uses to interface with product management and support new feature enhancements. We work across a wide variety of stakeholders, whether it's industry analysts, whether it's looking at the competitor, working with our technology partners to identify opportunities we have to improve our products and add feature capability to our products. So we really keep our ears to the ground. And then because we're so outside in focused, and hopefully you all have valued the touch points that we have with you through the various interviews that we have or briefings that we have with customers, working at user groups and the likes. Next slide, please. So the next, we're going to just do a real brief hi-bye, a flash in of the ideas portal. So if you are not familiar with it yet, ideas.precisely.com should be your new best friend in order to submit any product enhancements, any feature enhancements you want added to the EngageOne products. And when you submit those ideas go through a very rigorous workflow for the product manager, because those ideas are analyzed and evaluated, responded to, and then we start pushing collaboration across the entire user community in order to gain support for each of the ideas, so we can understand not only the importance of that idea, quantify the value of the idea, and then get that idea onto our product roadmap and ultimately delivered in product. And just to give you some insight that it's not just a holding place where we don't really do anything with those ideas. If you see the pie chart on the right, it gives you the statistics that lets you know how those ideas are progressing. So you will be notified as your idea progresses. If there's a targeted release of those ideas, you will be notified of that. And I believe we have just north of 30% of the ideas that have that are either scheduled for release on the roadmap or released to clients. And then, of the ideas that we have just about 1% that as of, I believe this was May 7th, as of May 3rd, that are waiting for response from the product manager. And the product managers know that they need to do that. Most of those are within the current quarter. Next slide, please.
Yeah, maybe to add, good to know that every customer can create quite easily on the ideas.precisely.com his or her own account.
Yes, thank you for that. And then from the investment theme, so as we're investing in our products, as we're investing in EngageOne, again, with our ear to the market, we had recently changed our investment themes for 2021 and our upcoming planning horizons, looking at simplifying customer engagement for the business users. So analysts, clients, users, you name it, want to push the customer engagement down to the business user, and they want to be able to do that from the business tools that those business users utilize every day. They don't want to have to, they don't want multiple systems in order to engage with the customers. So we need to simplify our engagement interfaces so that you can work in the systems, in the tools that reducing the training footprint, but allowing you to take advantage of the effectiveness of the data that you have within your data streams and the channels that you can deliver the communications on. Modernizing technology modernizing our technology stack in accordance with emerging technologies. So as we see deployment models change from on-premise type of deployment models to cloud-based deployment models, not only having a SaaS-based solution so that you can perform digital customer engagement with the EngageOne Communicate product, but taking our EngageOne Compose product and starting to support containerized deployments with full auto scaling, modernizing our API so that we have a non-SOAP-based API to do your application integration. Complying to information and data security standards. Data security, information privacy is top of mind for all organizations. We've gone and refactored, we revised, we put together new business processes in order to support the business problems around security. Whether it's through penetration testing on software, whether it's through SOC 2 attestation for our SaaS platform, and features that we have in future for Vault on GDPR, we are working to make sure that we're supporting the user, supporting our clients in every way possible with information security, data security, and protection. And then consistency across the products. We want to make sure as we're simplifying the engagement for the business user, we're also simplifying the engagement with the folks who are, with the administrators who are configuring the solutions and deploying the solutions for clients, making sure that if we have a single sign-on capability, that you can take advantage of that single sign-on capability with consistency across all of our products. Our features are not going to be different product to product, sharing a lot of the resource and assets that we're creating across products. Next slide, please. And with that, if I have time, I'll take questions. If not, I'll pass it to Chris Cummings. You guide me, Patrick.
Yeah, if you want to ask, if people want to ask questions, they can do so in the chat. So if anything comes up, I'll read it out to you guys. But for now, I think we can switch to Chris.
To Chris. Thank you.
There you go, Chris.
All right. Thanks, Patrick. Thanks, Kevin. So as has been mentioned, we're excited to introduce to you EngageOne Communicate today. So Communicate is precisely this digital engagement platform that enables business users and technical specialists to drive customer experience in use cases involving customer servicing, retention, and acquisition. It's a secure, multi-tenant, highly scalable SaaS platform that makes it easy to design, personalize, and deliver digital communications and then measure the results. If go to the next slide, please. Just to give you a little context, so as a business, Precisely is focused on data integrity and innovative ways in which that data can be applied to make compelling customer experiences that drive business results. In a research study that we commissioned from Corinium Intelligence, we surveyed 100 CX leaders, so people in senior positions, department heads, directors, VPs, C-level executives. And what we found was there are significant changes in how businesses are evolving in the age of COVID and beyond. So as you can see from the quote from Brian Stewart at AXA, the biggest shift for many companies has been moving from in-person interactions to digital, with 79% of CX leaders saying they've seen an increase in digital customer interactions. That part might not be shocking, kind of given what we've all been through over the last year, but what is that CX leaders don't see that changing post-pandemic. 55% say that customers will be more likely to use digital self-service going forward. And 50% of CX leaders say that customer expectations for digital experiences are changing in the sense that they're increasing. They want more personalized, more seamless, more integrated experiences. And this complicates things because it means businesses can't take a one-size-fits-all approach to customer experience anymore. And many businesses that we talk with are not set up to engage their customers on the customer's channel of choice and do it in a way that's personalized to the individual. If we go to the next slide, we'll look at what some of the investments look like. So in response to these market conditions, CX leaders are more focused than ever on these top three items. So using data to deliver more seamless and personalized customer experiences. They're planning to upgrade their data integration, their data integrity, their enrichment technologies. They plan to invest in multi-channel CX platforms. And they're looking to install chatbots with the ability to transition to live agents as needed. So these three technologies look set to be the most popular CX investments in 2021, with 60%, 46%, and 42% of CX leaders stating their desire to invest in them. If we go to the next slide. It's into this environment that we're launching EngageOne Communicate. Because again, in talking with clients and with prospects, we've seen them struggling with designing personalized communications on different channels and struggling to understand how those experiences are actually performing. So baked into the DNA of EngageOne Communicate is this concept that we want to simplify the complexities of digital engagement and digital experiences. We want to make the complex simple. So our goal is to empower clients who want to engage their customers digitally, something that is difficult, something that's complex. We make it easy. We make it simple. So how do we do that? Well, first, they won't have to buy or learn multiple different products to achieve these experiences. They'll be able to create different digital experiences with their data in one platform with a common interface across all channels. So our value that we make the complex simple is expressed in several ways. The most obvious, as we're going to take a look at, is the designer. So as people have been using the designer, it's received positive feedback. The UX approach that we've taken is called progressive disclosure, which basically means that we have a lot of functionality, but we only reveal it to you as you actually need it. And we do it in a way that it works for both the business user and for IT, so they can collaborate together on these experiences. IT basically surfaces data and makes the logic decisions, and then the business can then consume the data and drive the consumer experience. Personalization. So we know that communications that demand action, that are personalized in some way, those outperform generic ones. So we made it really simple for clients to take their data and apply it to their communications, and then set conditions so that specific blocks or specific content are only shown to the recipients who meet the right criteria. Analytics, we've made it easier and faster for the business user to understand how their campaigns are performing, across the different communication types. We've got different engagement reports and charts, and they're able to download this data for offline analysis. Channels, so that the channel mix in Communicate is unique in the marketplace. So we're really excited about this. Nowhere else will you find this selection of capability out of the box on a single platform. So with Communicate, we've created a digital mix that honors consumer expectations for common digital touch points, like email, like SMS, PDFs attached to your emails. But then we've expanded to cutting edge channels like personalized interactive video and chatbots. If we go to the next slide. So what Communicate does is it opens the door for you to engage better with your customers. We'll look at a specific example in a moment. But I did want to highlight some of these use cases here and some of the results that we're seeing using these technologies. So onboarding. If you think about insurance, so one of our insurance clients, for example, they used an interactive, personalized video to educate their customers about their new insurance policies, and also to encourage them to complete different onboarding tasks, like set up their digital accounts, sign up for paperless billing, that sort of thing. 31% of their customers watched the entire video, and almost 17% of them accessed the My Account portal through the video. So this was huge for them, helping them achieve a major strategic objective, which was driving people to self-service. Servicing. So we've helped healthcare organizations rapidly stand up new solutions with chatbots that answer over 88% of customer queries. Acquisition, scheduling, renewals, the list goes on and on of the types of use cases and customer experiences that we can address with Communicate to help you streamline processes, speed up activations, and lower costs. If we go to the next slide. What we're going to do now is take you through an example use case to show how you can use these technologies available in Communicate to create these quick, contextual, personalized experiences that customer want, as well as provide a view into how it's done. So what we're looking at here is an onboarding journey for a financial institution. Don't let that throw you if that's not your vertical, because this kind of experience could apply to virtually any vertical, right? The onboarding experience. So our user in this example is Veronica, and she has registered for a new checking account recently. And as the bank, what we'll do is proactively engage her with a personalized welcome email. This email links to a personalized interactive video to onboard her as a new customer, and then guide her to the next logical step. In this case, it'll be registering for self-service and also signing up for a new credit card. As she's going through the process, she has questions, which are then answered by the bank's chatbot. After she's made a few purchases on her new card out in the world, she makes her first payment, and that's deducted from her checking account. And afterwards, she receives a proactive SMS payment alert that gives her peace of mind and builds her loyalty to the bank, because the bank is addressing a chief concern of hers, which is making sure that her bills are paid on time, because she's building up her credit score. So that's the broad overview of the entire journey. And now what we'll do is look at how Communicate helps to bring that experience to life. Go to the next slide. First, we'll look at Veronica's personalized email. So you can see on the right side of the screen, her email greets her by name. So it raises the message's relevance, because it's not just a generic message, it's to her. And important to note here, so we could apply any other data point as well. Yeah, the first name is just the easiest and most obvious one, but we could put in due dates if it's a bill, the items purchased if it's a returns note. Whatever data you make available to Communicate can easily be added to your communications to personalize it. Notice too that the email is formatted for her device, so it's easy to read and to visually process. The email reminds Veronica about what she found enticing about this particular organization, so their involvement in the local community, and that the email invites her to watch her personalized video, so there's a clear call to action. If you look at the lower left, you can see the interface for creating this email. Hugh's going to show a little bit more about this in a moment, but you can see it's a drag and drop interface where you choose blocks from the right to drop into the design canvas on the left. And you can add images, buttons, dividers, text blocks, tables, different layouts, and then you can modify them in different ways. You can change the colors of buttons, you can add or subtract padding, all kinds of different options to make things look exactly how you need them to look. Designing the email only takes a few minutes, and then personalizing the email is easy with the approach that we've taken, which enables you to easily add your data and then use it however you want. So this is a pretty straightforward example, but if you wanted to push the communication further by adding conditions to it, you can. So for example, if you want to tailor the promotions or other content based on what the recipient has or has not purchased from you, for example, you can do that easily. So in this example, so if the user has a checking account but not a credit card, you could simply add an upsell message for a credit card that would only be displayed to users without a credit card, based on your data source. And then when you're ready, you can preview the entire communication within the designer to see how it looks on desktop, tablet, and mobile. You can preview with the data applied, so you can spot check personalizations based on your data set. And then you can send a test run to gather feedback for review and approval. So it's a very flexible approach that means you can launch emails in minutes, not days or weeks. All right, if we go to the next slide, we'll go back to Veronica, and we see that, so she's clicked the button in the email, and that leads her to her personalized interactive video. So this is an immersive, real-time experience that combines video, music, voiceover, images, forms, buttons, and data to help Veronica understand what she's signed up for and what the next logical steps are for her. And it really lets her drive the experience, because it's her choices in the video that determine what happens next. Yet it's based on what she clicks on. So in this segment of the video, she's presented with options. She chooses to learn more about the app, and then along the way, she gets introduced to a credit card offer that she wants to learn more about. If you look at the lower left corner, you can see the interface for creating the video. Yeah, it's a web-based interface, looks very similar to what we just saw for email, and it enables the average business user to quickly create real-time, interactive, personalized videos, pulling in video assets, pulling in images, adding voiceovers. So you don't need to hire a professional to narrate the experience. Instead, you can use our built-in AI-driven text-to-speech capability that lets you choose from dozens of different voices, male, female, different nationalities, and really brings a new dimension to the experience. And if you don't like the AI options, you can add your own voice to the video to keep everything on brand. The video experience is backed by analytics, so you can track performance to understand how users are engaging with your videos. We're talking about an onboarding experience here, but hopefully you can imagine just as easily if you want to do an invitation to an event or a product explainer or a check-in video or a follow-up to a sales meeting. Any of these is perfect for this kind of use case. If we go to the next slide. Again, back to Veronica. So based on her personalized video experience, she decides to open a credit card account. She has questions about what her billing options are, so she engages the website chatbot to get answers. This is an automated conversation, so it's more like a modern messaging app experience than a traditional kind of text exchange. So we have interactivity, we've got buttons, menus, image carousels, all different options that help to propel the conversation forward quickly and take away some of the pain that you might experience typing on a mobile keyboard. The experience, again, is driven by data. So the chatbot can answer generic questions without her logging into her account, but it can also answer questions that are specific to her account after she securely signs in. The entire conversation transcript is saved within the analytics, and it can be made available to the business for analysis or follow-up. In the lower left, you can see the design interface for the chatbot. So similar to what we've seen in the other two, you're dragging blocks from the right into the canvas area. In this case, you're creating and previewing your conversational workflow. If we go to the next slide, we'll look at the last part of Veronica's journey. So remember, she has received the email, she watched the video, she had her questions answered by the chatbot, and now we're a couple weeks down the line. She's made her first credit card payment, and we've sent her a personalized SMS to confirm receipt of payment. We greet her by name, let her know the current status, and this really closes the loop. Research tells us that 95% of text messages are opened within 3 minutes of delivery, and an activity alert like this, presuming that the user has given you permission to contact them this way, right? That's important. But an alert like this is a really effective way to create loyalty because you're helping the customer keep track of what's going on with their account without forcing them to log into your app or into your website. So you're really streamlining the customer experience for them. In the lower left, you can see the interface for creating the SMS. Again, a really clean interface that lets you create the message, personalize it using data, and also provides feedback on how many characters you've used to help you stay concise and on message. If we go to the next slide, we'll take a look a little bit behind the scenes. So underneath everything, there is analytics capturing data on how your customers are interacting with these communications. The example here is a reporting dashboard for email. You can see that you can filter by date range, see the metrics of how many messages were sent, opened, see the click to open rate so you can tell how engaged users are versus how many have unsubscribed from you or messages that bounced. And you can download the entire data set so you can drill down to the individual user level to understand how individual recipients interacted with your messages. The metrics, the specific metrics are different for each communication type, right? Like, so you have opens and bounces for email, you have unique views and average view duration for video, for example, but the interface is consistent across the board. So no matter what you're looking at, the key information is at the top, there's an engagement chart below it, and then the ability to filter information by date and also download it for external analysis. If we go to the next slide. So we've talked about how simple it is to personalize messages and communicate, but how do you actually get data into the platform in the first place? So EngageOne Communicates supports multiple data import methods and file types. The most common method of data import is by simple file upload. So we support CSV, JSON, Excel, XML for that. And you can automate this process as well using the Communicate data APIs. But if you want to pull in the latest, most up-to-date information from your system of record, you can use our native connection with precisely Spectrum on Demand. Spectrum on Demand is a fully SaaS implementation that supports data integrations with Salesforce, with Microsoft Dynamics, SAP, and other big data, cloud, and relational databases. If we go to the next slide.
Can I ask one question in between from one of the viewers?
Sure.
It's about you've shown us all these channels, and one of the questions is: will push data, for example, to a bank app, will become available at any time?
So push notifications are on the roadmap. So I'll talk about that in a little bit.
Okay, thank you very much. So now we move to you, who will do a demo of all the stuff you've just talked about. I think it's a really clear message on what kind of use cases we can do and what the product enables. But it's always good to see that in motion, right? So with that, I switch to you, and please, if you've got any questions, put them into the chat, and I'll relay them to the presenters. Here we go.
Thanks, Patrick. Thanks, Chris. Okay, this is Glava. They're a large B2B company. They're based in the Nordic region. They specialize in insulation products for building, construction, maritime industries. Now, when dealing with inquiries from visitors to their website, they identified 3 areas that they needed to improve on. So first, from a language perspective, the user base is quite diverse. It can be anything from Norwegian to Polish, maybe even English, who knows? So maybe what they need to be able to do is to adapt to this language variation in real time. Second, because of the nature of their business, queries tend to be quite technical. So while some of those questions are predictable and structured, many are not. Fortunately, Glava have an FAQ knowledge base and an extensive library of PDF documents that hold the answers to nearly all of these technical questions. But exploiting these resources in real time, it's proving quite difficult. And lastly, the sign-up process for new customers is not quite as seamless and as frictionless as they would like. And so they also want to address that as well. So we have a short demo for you, and that starts by looking at ways of addressing those needs, first from an end user perspective, and then we'll finish off by taking a quick look behind the scenes at some of the technology that is driving and delivering that experience that Chris has already touched on in his presentation. Now, okay, so my first language is Welsh, which is about as popular as Latin these days. So I am going to stick to English for the main part of this demo. However, I will be throwing a little bit of Norwegian and Polish into the mix to show you how language variations are managed. And without further ado, let's jump into the demo. So we'll start by seeing how well the bot handles structured questions. And to do that, well, we'll select one of these options we have here on the screen. So let's find a little bit more about Glava. Now, admittedly, this structured flow, these options here, they're quite simple, but nevertheless, it does prove that the bot can handle this kind of deterministic conversation. And what is also quite nice is that it's given me the option to watch a video. And that means that it's allowing me to move the journey from a chatbot experience to something a little bit more visual, like a video experience. So I can play the video. Yeah, wow. Who'd have thought that video would ever been part of a webinar? Anyway, so switching channels is also quite possible as well. But as I mentioned, the majority of the questions that the bot is going to have to cope with are likely to be unstructured and even in several different languages. So for that use case, it's just not practical to use this structured flow approach. So instead, we need something that is a little bit more intelligent or cognitive. And so here I have some questions that I prepared. And this is literally one question from thousands of questions that could be asked. And I'm going to take, first of all, I'll start with the Norwegian version of the question. And I'm going to place that into my bot. And let's see what the bot makes of that. Now, what we're doing this time is that we're seeing how the bot copes with unpredictable questions and how it's managing that. So, and of course, the complicate matters, even though I started in English and the bot is running in English, I've just asked it a question in Norwegian. And also the other thing as well, to get the answer for that question, the bot has to go to, first of all, it went to a knowledge base to see if it had a question that had been asked like that in the past. It didn't find anything in the knowledge base. So then it went to the technical library and it searched through a set of PDF documents in an attempt to find an answer to that technical question. And if I scroll up a little bit, you can see it has in fact come back with an answer to that question. And if I open up that link, you can see that it's taken me to that document. The document is in Norwegian. I have no idea what it says, but this will be the answer to the question that that user is posing. And also, I mean, I can go back and I can ask the same question in Polish. So let me just take my Polish question and that as well. So now the bot is going to have to realize that the question is going to be asked in a different language. Oops, if I can just paste that in. And of course, I'm asking the same question, and as you'd expect, it's gone through the same process and it is coming back with the same answer. Now, you may have noticed that the bot is actually keeping count of the number of times that I go off script or ask an unscripted question. Now, for this use case, then going off script will be the norm because there are so many questions. There is no way that you can handle that in a structured approach. But maybe for other use cases, you might want to use the number of times that the user goes off script as a method for triggering some kind of other action, like maybe to pass the user to a live agent, because obviously the bot is possibly struggling with answering the questions. Okay, now also, in addition to the PDF library, in some cases, we may have also additional content that we may want to pass back to the visitor. And here is an example of that. So in addition to the PDF document that we've presented, we've also found a small video within the video library as well that also relates to the question. And for example, this might be, I don't know, a short instructional video, maybe explaining the component that they're asking about, telling you some more information about that, maybe how to fit it, or even maybe what other components are related to that. And these are the components that are typically bought when a customer is inquiring about that. And again, the whole conversation staying within the bot. You can play that video from within the bot if you like. And on a mobile device, that probably doesn't make a lot of difference. But of course, if you're on a laptop or a desktop, then of course you have the option to show that full screen. Now we can actually take this experience one step further. I don't have this in the demo to show you right now, but what we could actually do is to use video to render the whole answer back to the visitor. So for example, the video creation engine would be past the original question that we typed into the bot. It would also then let the background task get the answer to that. and then via a set of standard APIs that are available to us, take the answer and convert the text of that answer into speech. And then instead of us seeing this a separate video, the video would be, "Hi Hugh, let me explain the answer to you," and the whole thing could be visual, and takes that that connection to a whole new level. Now we're always exploring new ways of looking at making the bot do things like this. One of the other things is possibly to use it as some kind of way of explaining where you are and where the nearest depot is. So again, we can go off script, and for some reason that the Google is not playing very playing tricks on me today, but you can get what can come back. It would be a map of Norway, and you could overlay that information with directions of where they are and get them to the nearest depot. Now, of course, this isn't particularly earth-shattering, but what it is showing is that you can add your own, you can add through APIs, you can add your own experience to the bot. So you can start to include other features and functions that aren't included in the bot itself. This might be, for example, I know one of our customers that they've built a customized menu system that was being used by some other systems, and they've incorporated that into the bot as well. You could build a survey in there. You could do pretty much what you want. Now, there's one other thing that I wanted to show you. Let me go back up to the beginning of the bot and start it again. One of the other challenges that I mentioned was the single site, was the sign-on process. So if I return back up to the bot, one of the deterministic scripted options was to allow the customer to sign up. So again, within the bot, we can do that. And for the benefit of time, I'm going to keep it quite simple, the information that I'm capturing. So it's just going to be my first name and my surname and the company, and then an email address that I want to send the welcome pack to. And sticking with the language, the multi-language theme, I'm given the option as to how I would like that welcome pack delivered. It can be in English, it could be Norwegian, it can be Polish. I'm going to pick English for this point. And in the background, well, what's happening? So because we've asked to sign up, that's triggered an automatic creation of a welcome pack. And that welcome pack consists of a responsive personalized email. Within the email, there'll be embedded a video, and that video won't be the kind of video that we just saw as part of the search. It will also be customized and personal. And also attached to that will be a PDF document. It'll be some kind of marketing brochure that gives information about Glava, and that too will be personalized. So if I just move over quickly to my inbox. Well, actually, while we're waiting for that to arrive, this morning what I did do was I sent a number of those welcome packs in different languages. I chose English as part of the flow. But if I look at this one, this is a version in Polish, and this is the Norwegian version, and this is the English version. So if I go to my inbox, we should now have received my welcome pack, and there it is. And let's have a little look through that. So here we have the personalized device-aware email. In the body of that email, we have a link to a video. And as mentioned, this one is different. This one has been, it's not like the one that we got back as part of the question search. It's personalized and contextual. Let me just play a few seconds of the opening. Okay, you're welcome. So that was personalized. It had my name in it. Obviously, it can be a lot more personalization, but just for the demo, just showing you some examples. And then the final element in the welcome pack is a PDF document. In this case, it tells us about other products that Glava are selling. So they also work in the maritime industry as well. But more significantly, this PDF document has also been customized and personalized. Now, if I add chosen to collect my mobile number as well. As Chris mentioned, I could have also got an SMS, possibly welcoming me to Glava, giving me a link maybe to go to the portal to start looking at some documents or whatever. So that's it for the demo. But before we take a brief look behind the scenes, it's worth summarizing what we saw front of stage. It started with how the bot handled the deterministic and cognitive conversations across multiple languages. We had English, Norwegian, and Polish. Some of those answers were mined from resources such as PDF documents. We could have also used an FAQ knowledge base. We could even have let it go to the web if we'd wanted it to. And we even discussed very briefly about how the whole conversation could be moved from the bot and handled entirely within a video experience using API and text-to-speech functionality. And I think that would be quite an exciting move that we're planning to put into this demo. And then also we saw how you could add bespoke experiences. Well, actually we didn't, because Google Maps didn't work for me very well today. But the idea is it's shown you how you can use industry standard API calls to add just about anything you like, from menu selections to surveys to whatever you like. And then finally, we went through that simplified sign-up process, which in turn triggered this personalized communication pack, and that consisted of a personalized responsive email, video, and that PDF attachment. Now, before I go looking behind the scenes, do we have any questions, Patrick, before I?
No, just that there is some there are some technical difficulties, it seems, because the image quality of your screen is quite bad. Maybe can you maybe refresh or show the email in full screen?
Yeah, of course.
That should also show us. Yeah. Okay.
Is that better?
I hope so.
Okay. Well, yeah, okay. Well, fingers crossed, because we're about to sort of go behind the scenes a little bit. I apologize for any. As I said, I live in Wales, so we've only just discovered the internet, so I apologize about that. We are a little bit behind the scenes a little bit. Shame about the Titanic sinking. Okay, so now I can go to behind the scenes. So I logged in some time ago, so fingers crossed that this login is still working. If not, unfortunately, I'll have to log out and log back in again. But let me see what happens. I'm not going to do a deep dive into the software today, but what I want to show you, or probably more to the point, emphasize, is what Chris has already said. The fact that all of these communication pieces that you saw in the demo were constructed under one roof, sharing assets such as data models and imagery. So the creation process of the chatbot, the email, the video, the PDF, and SMS, they're now part of this unified platform. We still have an extended pro version of our video editor, but all the videos that you saw in the demo, they were assembled in the unified platform version of the software. Now, to access, for those of you that have probably never, maybe not even seen the EngageOne Communicate before, access is very simple. It's SaaS. All you need is a web browser. And if we take a look at the recent project that we just looked at, it's called Glava, and you'll see that we have communication entries for each of the channels. And if we drill down, and this is where I find out if my login still works. Yeah, that's very good. We get to see it firsthand, sort of, other than just on a slide deck that Chris showed you. The UX layout, which is pretty much standard across many of the communication channels, which is nice and simple, is clutter-free. So on the left, you have the design canvas. On the right, you have those tiles, the selection of tiles that we use to add content. It's extremely intuitive. You drag the tiles over onto the canvas, you set the attributes, you get the right effect. Personalization, you can see links here on the, in the text. These are personalization. Again, we call them contacts in Communicate. You can associate one or more contact lists with that. once you've associated a contact list, you can then preview and send tests out for that particular document. And here you can, let me just go back. I think I may have lost my contact list. So here you can see a number of contact lists. If I go to my Glava and then see if I can preview and test now. Yep, sorry about that. I have 3 customers from which I can select from. Each of these have different language preferences. So mine is English. So you can see how conditional language is playing a role in creating individual emails for customers. I also have Simon Turner, for those of you that know Simon. I bet you didn't know he was of Polish ancestry, so this is Simon's version. And also we have Michael Brask. Actually, he's Swedish, but for today, he's Norwegian as well. And again, you can send those tests, and you can look at them, you can preview those, how they look across different devices as well. If I want to, let me just, what else can I show you in here? Go back to my contents page. Yeah, as I mentioned, we have conditional logic. We also have, I think Chris mentioned, transaction tables. We have dynamic image selection. And these are just some of the features that are available in the toolset, and they allow you to take content selection and layout to another level. For email, there's also out-of-the-box integration for video and PDF. That's allowed us to create that kind of experience that we saw within the welcome pack a little bit earlier. And if I go back to, I don't think I want to save it. Let me go back to my project. This is where I may have, oh, no, okay, you're still there. I just wanted to show you the PDF as well, because this gives you an idea of that sort of look and feel that we've created across multiple editors. So this is not the email editor, this is the PDF editor, but you're starting to see a very similar look and feel. We have the design canvas on the left, and we have tiles on the right. We can have different contact lists that allow us to do previews of the documents, and we can use these as attachments to the emails. So this is just to give you a flavor, if you like, of what the new interface looks like and how similar each of those experiences are. So you don't have to, there's not a massive learning curve in understanding how to create content. It's very simple to create emails. SMS is the same, and I won't have time to go through all of these. Probably the one more thing I should show you, because Chris already mentioned it, is the reporting. So here I can look at my welcome email, which is the sample that we looked at, and you get an idea here of the number of times that there were unique opens, clicks, how many were emails, how many were delivered. I can scroll down here. I get a little real-time graph, so I can understand and explore how the content has been received, and I can understand if there's been any bounce backs or anybody that wanted to unsubscribe or whatever reason. I think I've probably talked too long. I'm going to hand you back to Patrick now, or probably Chris more like, to see if he wants to summarize what we've seen.
Yeah, Chris.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you, Hugh. That was awesome. Kind of going into the details. Hopefully that gives everybody a much better view of the kind of functionality that we have available in Communicate and the kind of experiences you can create for your customers. So we'll wrap up here with a brief look at the road ahead. You know, we don't have a time to do a deep dive on all of these features here, but just some highlights of the next 12 to 18 months. So archiving, clients have been asking us for the ability to place archive versions of emails and PDFs and SMS into their own systems of record, HP Trim, for example, or Vault. So we're going to deliver that capability so professional services and system integrators can achieve that. We'll continue to expand our enterprise controls with audit trails, so making it really simple to see who did what, when, to which template or campaign. Live takeover. We're going to be introducing a new live takeover capability for chatbots. So if a user gets stuck, if the chatbot can't answer their question, an agent will be notified about that and they'll be able to seamlessly take over the chat with the context. And critically, we'll also be including the ability for agents to handle more than one chat at a time. So that's very important if you're in a call center environment. So those are more immediate if we look a little farther out. So being able to empower business users to create communications using pre-approved layouts. So layouts that can be locked down by designers, and then leverage shared content for things like headers, footers, phone numbers. So you can update that one piece of content and update all the templates that also use that same content. Notification center. So that's an expansion of our analytics, where we'll proactively alert you to campaign events, so you don't have to go to the dashboard. You'll be told if there are things that you should look at in the dashboard. And then we're also looking at introducing new channels. So two-way SMS is one, and push notifications would be another one. So if you have ideas about that or requirements, please, like Kevin had mentioned, add that to the ideas portal. So we factor that into our design and into our planning. The last note here would be you might notice that there's a valid date down in the lower right corner. Yeah, so we live in a dynamic world, so plans change and adjust. So this is how we're currently planning to add even more value to the platform. Again, you can influence that by adding ideas to the ideas portal and also voting on ideas that you see there, ideas that other people have already contributed. And with that, I'll turn things back over to Patrick.
Yeah, thank you very much, Chris. And yeah, I'm really happy to see this. As you know, as a partner, we see all your sprint demos, etc. And the stuff that's not being told is the enormous amount of effort that's also being put in stuff like scalability, APIs, but also security and certification. So it's a really scalable cloud platform, and the fact that these channels integrate into themselves, so you can use video in the email, switch over to SMS, and have one data set that you can reuse for all the communications, makes for, well, that you can easily build user stories like you just shown us. So we as a partner are really happy and already using some of these parts with customers. So thank you very much, Chris and you. And now we go to, let's say, the second part of the demonstration or the presentation, which is about EngageOne Compose and how this will the new technology will help compose users as well in moving into the digital domain. So it's my pleasure to introduce the well-known, I must say, product manager Peronita, who's been with us for quite a few years, and a lot of our customers I know you quite well, right?
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Patrick. Alrighty, so welcome all. So let's talk about EngageOne Compose update. So Patrick, if you don't mind going on the next slide, please. Thank you. So we'll talk about the key innovation coming in our next release for SB11, which is targeted for early Q3 delivery. It is the modernized email design and delivery, which offers seamless user experience that Compose user would go through to design mobile communications for batch and on-demand applications, reusing Compose design assets, leveraging Communicate mobile template, and delivering using Deliver as a channel from within Compose. So all we're trying to achieve here is we are modernizing the way design process for the Compose designer users would work by providing a connected user experience for Compose designers with EngageOne Communicate. As well as we are looking to have EngageOne Deliver bundled within Compose to allow configurable inbound and outbound email and SMS delivery with the configurable digital delivery workflows. For example, the inbound message routing workflows for the bounce email management. Next slide, please, Patrick. Thank you. So this is, it's a wordy slide, but the crux here is that we are going from the outdated versions of HTML to HTML5 that works on all mobile devices. So this would enable our clients like yourself to upgrade your current fixed and fluid formatted emails to fully responsive emails. And mobile communication design and delivery feature, just to kind of add more colors to it, was split for batch and on-demand type of applications and the interactive applications due to its different workflow with the communication review and approval in picture. So mobile communications for interactive is a contender for 2022 release, which you will see when we get to the contenders for the release after SP11. And also to talk about quickly the value of adding Deliver as a bundle in Compose. So we are bringing those together as a unified, cohesive platform, making it configurable for the inbound and outbound email and SMS delivery, simplifying the journey for yourself, towards a digital transformation, lowering the cost of ownership. And on top of it, all the inbound and the outbound communications can be archived in Vault. And besides this, we're also doing some enhancements. So with the current situation we know with the COVID-19, so in SP11, we are adding the ability to be able to configure the outbound email delivery window based upon the availability of the agent. So it could be from Monday to Wednesday, they're available from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Thursday to Friday, they are available from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. So that's going to be all configurable, as well as providing a resume option for the outbound email flow based upon the contact center call volumes or the agent availability as the outbound email at the outbound email profile level. So we are making Deliver as a bundle, and that's all to have our system be more configurable, helping yourself easily move to multi-channel customer engagement. Next slide, please. Thank you. This is now we're going to go into mobile stuff. So we're going to talk about like a preview of the mobile communication features. So our enterprise clients like yourself, you've made significant investment in Compose, and you want to reuse your historic investment, like the text blocks, the active contents, data elements, and conditional logic to create those mobile communications. And you said it clear and loud, in our previous meetings on this topic. And we took your feedback very, very seriously and have ensured that your existing design assets can be published for Communicate to allow reuse of these assets as mobile template blocks, which can then be configured in the fit-for-purpose mobile templates that come from Communicate. Next slide, please.
Yes, I'm going to try something, Parinita, because you are going to show some screens with small letters, and we get some complaints that both from you and now also from my computer, not everything is quite visible. As you are not showing a live demo, I can try and switch to the pre-uploaded presentation, and maybe that will improve the quality. So let me try. Let me try if I can stop sharing my screen.
All right. Sure.
And yep, I think now we can move back to your presentation, and I hope this will enable a better quality.
Let's do what works best, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
so yes,
yeah.
To your point, Patrick. So we got the requirements from our partners and our clients, and the clients who are on the call right now, and we did validation on the user experience, the usability, with several users of our Compose clients. And I really want to thank you guys. Some of you really participated in that whole activity with our UX team, and you gave us great feedback. And that's how this whole thing has come together. So really appreciate you participating. It's always an investment from your side. So thank you for doing that. Yeah. So what you can see on the screen right now. So yeah, all the activities you see with the text, active contents, the conditional logic, and data elements, you can reuse that for mobile purposes, because that's what you told us that you want to, and you don't want to throw it back to recreate or start from scratch all over again. So we respect your feedback, and we've taken care of it. So let's go on to the next one, please. Yeah. So now we're going to just kind of walk through some of the screenshots. And it's at a very high level, and it's all in compliance with the precisely designed system we have. But it is all about the guided journey that the Compose designer user and the server admin user will go through to design mobile communications, reusing the existing design elements, and deliver using Deliver as a channel. For example, what you see here is that you have an existing, for example, an insurance policy cover letter, where you would want the designer user to be able to use these and reuse these assets to be able to recreate for the purpose of designing the mobile communication. So you can tag the block and anything that's part of the block, the conditional logic, the data elements, that would be parceled along with. So you can tag it here. Let's go on to the next one. And then you can then publish all those tagged elements for communicate to be reused for that purpose. So the published tagged content would be available in Communicate for reuse in the fit for purpose mobile template coming from Communicate. And here what you see is that you also want to reuse your Compose template data source, right? So which could be any of the existing supported formats like XML, CSV, text. And then you can add your data source here to be able to use the same data fields, adding personalization where required while creating the mobile design. Next, please. As well as bringing in images, that is fit for digital purpose and use in the mobile design, because the images that you might have today in your print design, they're not fit for the digital purpose. So you might want to make changes to those images, as well as be able to bring in your fit for purpose images into Communicate. Next one, please. So what you see highlighted on the right is something in pink. So this is all to show that so easy process for yourself. So once you've tagged your elements in Compose, you can publish it for Communicate, and they all become Compose blocks. So you start your design, and you can easily bring in all these Compose blocks into Communicate as you're designing. So you saw one thing. It could be an address block. It could be whatever the cover letter, the welcome text. It could be something else. So it's a very easy and simple way for you to achieve it.
Can I ask one question, Parinita, that's coming from the audience, and that says, is there a versioning on those tagged Compose blocks?
So we don't have versioning as part of SP11, but that's something we are looking to consider for a future release.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Right, and this one is mainly to show like the preview aspect. So you can see, so if it's a responsive email, it might go to desktop. Clients might want to see it on their mobile app, kind of mobile devices, like the tablets and whatnot. So we allow you to preview it there. And the next one, yeah. So here you can then kind of just select, right? So what kind of templates that you want to bring in. So once you've designed it, you can select. You can make a connection to Communicate, and then bring in those templates into EngageOne Compose server. So it's all about the ease of the use of EngageOne server admin user here to configure the connection to EngageOne Communicate, and then to be able to browse and select the templates. If you can go to the next one, please. Yeah. So you can bring in those templates and select it. And as you can see, either you can browse to the thumbnail view, which we are reviewing, if that's a possibility, or you can just have a list view. If you can go on to the next one, because I think some of the slides are not showing the way. Right. And then also to be able to review and map some of the data elements because these things would come by default, but we are giving you an option. If you want to revise and make a change, you can do it again in Compose. So next one. And then associate it with Deliver as a channel. And you right now in Compose, totally in Compose server, where you say, you know what, Deliver is your channel to be able to trigger those batch and on-demand communications using the mobile template that you just designed. So just a kind of a high-level thing to share with you. So those screenshots we presented, it's all about having a guided journey for the Compose user. And it reinforces that we listen to our clients. We've listened to your feedback. We've done the validation. We want to make this whole experience as seamless as possible. And then on top of it, like most importantly, to be able to reuse your existing assets because you have made that historic investment. So you want to reuse what you've done for print or for the fluid or for the fixed kind of formatted email format, but then be able to set up rules to trigger those responsive emails. So just a high level taste of that. I hope that helped. So let's go on to the next one, please. Right. That's just a disclaimer. So we are an agile shop. The market needs, our priorities would change with the changing market needs and your needs as well. So it's just a slide to present. Let's go on to the last one that we have to talk about what we have as a contenders for the next one. Yeah. So we talked about the SP11, and the last thing I think I want to call out there would be the enhanced security. Was it a question, Patrick?
No.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Just want to be sure. So from the security perspective, so we have performed security scans and penetration testing, and we are resolving those vulnerabilities identified and updating the open source libraries. And at the end of the day, you will be getting a secure and a modernized Compose platform. And this is an ongoing activity, with continuous security improvements going forward. And now let's jump on to the 2022 contenders. So the client value that's associated here is all about the integrated security with clients' IDM tools, the support of modern cloud deployment framework, and the business user productivity. So with a single sign-on, this is to allow enterprise clients the single sign-on access to all the business applications, including EngageOne, ensuring their network identity is respected. So users just to have the need to log in once with one set of credentials to all of the corporate business applications like EngageOne and all the data that they have got permission to. So it improves the identity protection because with SSO, the orgs can strengthen the security with techniques like multi-factor authentication, as well as from the market and the analyst analysis we've done. This is going to lead to significant reduction in the login-related help desk calls and allow faster login and use of newer applications, as well as improve the employee productivity because signing in once, it always saves time. And then stats that we have, if I remember correctly, it shows about 68% of employees, they switch between 10 different applications in an hour. So eliminating multiple logins can save an organization significant time and money, as well as lowering their total cost of ownership. Next one is cloud enhancements, which I know is one of the most popular ones here. So knowing the trends of the organization is to move from on-prem to cloud. So cloud deployment enhancements, it entails simplified, automated, and scalable cloud deployment. So with cloud containers, we want to offer packaged, automated, secure, and a very documented deployment of our engagement applications by our clients, by our partners, because we don't want you guys to be so familiar with the EngageOne software application when it comes to the deployment in support of private cloud deployments. So the deployed EngageOne application will then be used to be able to design, deliver, and to be able to audit the multi-channel customer communications. And it's all to do with advancing the capabilities for the DevOps, kind of role and persona, to be able to deploy the software without being a specialist on EngageOne Compose. And we also want to enable the upgrade of the existing EngageOne Compose, from on-prem to the client's private cloud using containerized deployment. So you can continue to use EngageOne application for batch, for the self-service, and for the interactive type of application seamlessly. And also be able to track the usage of the application, once container is deployed, and be able to report on it so clients can track the product usage on cloud deployment. And auto-scaling, it goes without saying, it's all about providing the solution to be able to dynamically adjust the distribution of the Compose processing across multiple containers to handle the surges in client processing volumes. When it comes to APIs, we know we need to modernize our APIs. You guys have told us that. And again, we take your feedback very seriously, so we have taken it on board. So we have SOAP base today, and we want to modernize and advance our APIs. And most importantly, we want to have a unified API strategy across all of our engagement products. And when we talk about modernizing APIs, it's all targeted to improving the usability and the experience. It's all about offering modern APIs that are more flexible, they are more extensible, and are easy to integrate with clients' business systems and data sources, and to be able to promote innovation. And yes, it goes again without saying that it's going to be phased delivery, so because we do incremental innovation. Moving on, proactive notifications. That's an enhancement to our existing configurable review and approval workflows to send those notifications upfront. So today, users have to log into Compose to see their assigned tasks, for template design, review, and approval, or for the interactive type of applications. So we want to make more proactive effort there. And it's all focused around improving the employee productivity so they can action their tasks sooner than later without relying on signing into EngageOne portal to see their tasks. And also with respect to the communication review and approval, this would lead to quicker action to customer inquiries. Next one, remote authoring. I think that's, again, one of the popular ones because many of you use Content Author today. So this is going to be a phase one of Content Author replacement, providing more control to the business users on the template design process by giving business users the ability to edit regions of the design template in the application of their choice, like adding promotional messages or adding artwork, without ID involvement. And so it's all about offering ease of use of business users to collaborate on the template updates and management as organizations are looking to streamline their ID investment and need to shift the cost of template development to their business users while still maintaining the overall control on the process, resulting in lowering the cost of ownership, speeding the creation of, and improving the accuracy of changes to the template. And then when it comes to mobile communication designs for interactive, this is going to be phase two of mobile communication sign and delivery feature. And the last one that we have here is license management. And it's all about analyzing the volumes of batch and the real-time communications being processed by the clients to ensure there's compliance. So we want to be able to have a place where we can count what is happening in the system, be able to maintain it and get access to it. So anybody who needs to look into it for compliance can. And with that, I will pass it back to Patrick.
Thank you very much, Paranita. I didn't see more questions coming in after the versioning one. I'm going to switch a little bit to Dutch to reiterate and re-explain what you just said for a short bit, so excuse me. Nou, wat jullie gezien hebben is denk ik het Communicate product, hè? Dus het omni-channel product waar je de communicaties in kunt maken, het cloud product. En je hebt zojuist van Perenita een demonstratie gezien van hoe een deel van dat product geïntegreerd is met Compose. En wat belangrijk is dat dat zowel op dataniveau is als op asset niveau, waarbij zo'n Compose blok alles kan zijn van een logo tot een tekst tot business logica tot active content, waarmee je dus dat meteen kunt hergebruiken in je responsieve e-mail. Wat niet fysiek getoond is dat je ook Compose gegenereerde PDF-documenten, dat noemen ze dan een dynamic attachment, kunt hangen aan zo'n e-mail. Ik hoop dat jullie gezien hebben dat er op het gebied van cloud enabling van het traditionele product, zowel als de SaaS-ontwikkeling aan de Communicate kant, volop aan de hand is. Of volop ontwikkeling is, moet ik zeggen. Ik zou ook iedereen willen aanraden om het ons te raadplegen of rechtstreeks het Ideas Portal van Precisely te gebruiken. Wordt op dit moment keihard gewerkt aan weer de volgende releases. Mocht er nu nog vragen zijn, dan stel die vooral op dit moment nog. Mochten jullie behoefte hebben om met ons na te praten of door te praten over wat jullie gezien hebben of een nadere demo te krijgen, dan kan dat. Misschien om nog even aan te geven, biedt dit eigenlijk een soort pad naar de toekomst toe. Dus de meeste van onze klanten zitten nog op het linkerdeel, het print first, waarbij Compose gebruikt wordt voor vooral print en bij een aantal klanten ook voor e-mail of sms. Wat Chris heeft laten zien, zitten meer in de 3 en 4 hoek, de Communicate, waarbij je alle digital design kan doen en on-demand print kan regelen. Maar voor de klanten die langzamerhand willen opschuiven naar 2 en 3, waarbij je Compose gewoon gebruikt voor je print en delivery, zoals Perenita net heeft laten zien, daar kun je dus nu Communicate voor een stukje digital design gebruiken als aanvullend product. En uiteindelijk in fase 3 draai je dat om en wordt Communicate meer je hoofdplatform en gebruik je Compose alleen nog maar voor Dynamic Complex Attachment als het gaat om een digital first strategie. Kortom, in onze optiek is het nu mogelijk om in te stappen, maar ook te evalueren naar een volgende fase. En daar gaan we graag met jullie over in gesprek. Dus ik hoop dat dit plaatje iets beter laat zien hoe die evolutie nu plaatsvindt. Met aan de ene kant dus je omni-channel digitale platform. En aan de andere kant de mogelijkheid om nu alles wat je al in print hebt gedaan te gaan delen en hergebruiken. Ik weet niet of er op dit moment nog vragen zijn. Zo te zien niet. Dan wil ik eigenlijk iedereen bedanken. I hope that all our presenters have had a good time as well. I want to thank you very much for presenting and for helping us out, showing what you've got to our customers. So you, Christopher, Kevin, Rob, Perenita, thank you very much. We'll see you next time. Aan iedereen in de webinar, dank je wel. Tot de volgende keer en hopelijk kunnen we snel verder praten over deze onderwerpen. Dank je wel.
Thank you guys. Cheers. Bye.
Thank you.